Absence of Mayor Shapiro, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And roll call, please, Jerry.
Mayor Shapiro is absent. Trustee Benton?
Here.
Trustee Berg?
Here.
Trustee Goldberg, or Greenberg is absent. Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby?
Here.
And Trustee Oppenheim?
Here.
We have a quorum.
In our normal alphabetical order, I'd like a motion to nominate Trustee Berg as presiding officer for the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Larry, please come on over. Dude, I lost your card.
You put
It's
it,
in there.
Justin set it up so well. I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yes, I'm
To sit through it like it's right.
Okay, if we can all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, minutes of the previous meeting being January 5th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Is this all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Treasurer's report, Eric?
This is the December 2025 Treasurer's Report. It represents the unaudited results of 2025. The amounts tonight are also subject to year-end adjustments. Those adjustments would largely be expenditures paid in early 2026 that relate back to 2025. We'll also have some adjustments to make sure the revenues match the period in which they were earned. And then finally, there may be some allocation adjustments just to make sure the expenditures show up in the right departments. So good snapshot of what we have so far, but more to come before they're actually finalized and audited. Overall, it was another good year. Annual net sales tax exceeded the prior year. Mm-hmm. That increase was due to a general increase in the cost of items sold. So remember, it's a tax on how much the items cost. We also had increased internet sales tax as that Leveling the Playing Field Act from a few years ago kicks in. And we had a large item in March that was a non-recurring item, likely related to some use tax on a titled item. Water and sewer billings decreased from last month. That's again expected as we move out of those higher usage months, but the annual amounts are consistent with the budgeted, so we did hit that measure for the year. Interest income, hotel tax, state income tax, and food and beverage tax all had good years. They all exceeded the budgeted amounts. The electric utility tax that you see there tonight has only 11 payments in it. So that's one of the items that we will be adjusting when that 12th payment comes in. We think it probably got lost in the mail. So we're working to get that one back, but that will be adjusted. We also received our qualified energy conservation bond credit in December. That relates to the 2011 B bonds for the treatment plant. Nothing unusual there, but just like to note that we get that back twice a year, about $180,000 each time. So that's done us well for many years now. Yeah. Switching over to expenditures, notable expenditures in December include construction and engineering costs. We made our annual police pension contribution to the police pension fund, made the budgeted transfers to the 2011 B sinking fund, and the infrastructure replacement fund. We purchased 3 dump truck chassis and made payments for the solar panels at the treatment plant. One other item of note that's not in the report. Last week, our AAA bond rating was affirmed in connection with the upcoming bond sale. So again, that's what we wanted. It's the best you can do. That's what we expected, but it's good to have that come in too. So. Happy to answer any questions there may be, but that's 2025.
Any questions?
And Eric, as an extension of the AAA rating, we will do the bond sale, or the auction will be before, the morning before the next village board meeting, and then we'll present to you that night what those results are. So you'll get a blank ordinance that has to be filled in once we know what those sale proceeds are, that we'll present at the board meeting on Monday night on the 2nd. So more to come, but we're in as good a position as we can be, which is awesome. Thank you, Eric.
Agreed. Great work again. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Next, bills and payroll. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Is there a second? Roll call, please.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now is the time for public comment. If anybody has any public comment on a non-agenda item.
And nobody has signed in, sir.
Nobody signed in, and it doesn't look like anybody is here to do so. So we'll move on to the reports. There's a consent agenda item, 26-17, resolution appointing Justin Keenan, Daniel Van Dusen, and David Fitzgerald Sullivan as deputy village clerks for the village of Deerfield. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda and of the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. There is no old business. We'll move to new business. 26-09 is a resolution authorizing the village to enter into an emergency dispatch services agreement with the village of Bannockburn. Steve Pettarelli will present.
Good evening, Board. Like you said, 2609 is a resolution that we're looking to have board approval on. The police department is seeking board approval on resolution authorizing the village of Deerfield to enter into an emergency dispatch service agreement with the village of Bannockburn. This is already an existing contract that we had for many years. It gets renewed every 5 years. So we're just looking for board approval on this resolution.
There any comments or questions from the board?
This doesn't vary from what we've been doing, right?
No, it's just
It's the
it's our 5-year spot, and we just
Roll over.
re-upped it, and Bannockburn is signing theirs very soon, and Riverwoods is signing theirs tonight. So,
It's great.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I love the fact that this was as complete as it was. You guys have spelled out every possibility, it looks like, that could happen. And so the thoroughness, I appreciated. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the public? Seeing none, is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, 26-10 is a resolution authorizing the village to enter into an emergency dispatch services agreement with the village of Riverwoods.
So the police department is pretty much a clone of Bannockburn's. Police department is seeking approval for a resolution authorizing the village of Deerfield to enter an emergency dispatch agreement with the village of Riverwoods. This brings us up into line with Lincolnshire's contract, and Chief Daniel currently right now is in their boardroom getting it approved as we speak. So it's pretty much a clone of Bannockburn's. We're all going to be in line with all the towns that we dispatch for.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Is there a motion to accept the resolution?
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Your Honor, I want to thank Steve, I want to thank John, I want to thank DC's Fries and Budney for their work on this, as well as the communities that we've worked with. Their chiefs, their administrators, Bannockburn and Riverwoods. This is a true partnership, and it's really terrific. But there's also a lot of work that goes into it, and day to day, Steve's team does a great job working with them and supporting them. I just want to thank all those guys for making that happen.
Thank you, and thank you to the department. Next, 26-11 is a resolution approving pavement condition services contract. Tyler?
Good evening, Board. Every 3 years, the Public Works and Engineering Department initiates a pavement condition analysis of all village streets within the village. These are village-owned streets, so they don't include things like Lake Cook Road, Waukegan Road, and now the Lake County-owned Deerfield portion. This non-destructive technique employs a specialized van and also a trailer that will collect video, perform structural testing by the use of a fast-falling weight, where it will kind of determine the sub-base structure of the roadway with stuff that we cannot see from the surface, and also utilizes a camera to collect various data like spalling or rutting or cracking, and also subsurface conditions, as I said. So we've been using IMS, Infrastructure Management Services, for the better part of 15 to 20 years. And they've done this every 3 years for us for as long as I've been here, and again for about 20 years. They work with people like Lake County, IDOT, and several surrounding communities to perform this analysis. This analysis is a nice planning tool for the village during our CIP budgeting, where we will outlay different streets to be resurfaced or reconstructed, and using this information is a helpful piece of this puzzle. It should be said that it's not the only piece of the puzzle. There are other things like utilities, pedestrians, also traffic data that we utilize, but this is a nice tool that we stick in our tool belt. The department has budgeted $60,000 for this expenditure in fiscal year 2026, and we have a proposal from IMS in the amount of $53,475. Given us our preference to use IMS, they have a lot of our historical data. They perform the same test year over year, or every 3 years over 3 years. It's nice to compare apples to apples. We are also requesting that the village board waive the competitive bidding process. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Mary?
I'm fascinated with this, the fact that they actually have a machine that can judge the roads like this. And in your memo, in the report, it said that we're shooting for an average condition rating of 75 or greater on the roads. How close are we to that?
We're at 67.
Okay.
3 years ago, we were at 66 with a backlog of 3%. We have a backlog per them in 2023 of 10%.
That's great.
So we climbed, but there were also significant, loss in some roads as well with that backlog going up. But, we're never going to get an average of that. All of our roads to that certain level, because over 20 years we're not going to get to every road.
Right.
However, I think if we get an average of that, that is in the we're right now at 67 again. That's in their good category, but there is a lot of roads that we can do better on.
That's great. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, is there a motion concerning the resolution?
Move approval?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Byrd?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstein?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Next, 26-12 is a resolution to purchase bulk rock salt through Lake County Division Transportation. Bob?
Thank you, Trustee Berg. It's a pretty timely request. As you know, it's going to snow tonight, so I think 3 to 5. So we'll see what happens there. But typically we keep rock salt in storage. And as you know, we started this winter season with a pretty healthy sum of rock salt. We burned through that, with the snowfalls that we had late last year. Right now we have, it says 1,200 on the agenda item, but we have anywhere between 800 and 1,000 tons, which is enough to sustain us through, say 2 or 3 storms. But we do have another 600 tons on the way. And so that 600 tons is part of this. The request right now is through Lake County. And we join Lake County with their joint bid every year, as we join CMS and IDOT with their joint bid as well. And CMS and IDOT, the purchasing amount that we had through them was 500 tons, and that's long gone. So that was gone last year. So I'm just in front of you tonight for the request for the Lake County rock salt. But it is competitively bid. We have budgeted $200,000 for rock salt. I'm requesting the full $176,640. They're at $88.32 per ton. I think it's unlikely that we'll use that entire amount. We'll probably use somewhere between half and three-quarters of that amount. But I'm requesting the full amount anyway, just to be sure that we have enough, just in case we need to make an additional purchase. This contract will take us through June of this year, and we're required to receive 1,500 tons, not the 2,000, but up to 1,500 in June. At which point in time we'll start a new contract, and we'll have a contract for the 26-27 snow season. So with that, I'll be in front of the village board in March or so. Hopefully, if things shake out with the county and with the state, they'll be requesting our numbers for the next contractual season. So with that, I'm requesting tonight $176,640 for the purchase of rock salt through the Lake County joint bid, and the vendor is Morton Salt. It's at $88.32 per ton.
Any questions from the board or comments?
Do we have room for what we're ordering, or do we have to go out and get additional room because we don't have enough?
Well, you never have enough room, but so the way that salt works for us is we usually have a little bit on hand, and if we're lucky, we have a lot on hand. But right now we have about 800 to 1,000 tons, and it's a constant ebb and flow. It's constantly going out, and it's constantly coming in. So we try to keep it right around the 1,500 mark. If we can keep everything inside and under roof, then we're good. Last couple of seasons were pretty light, so we ended up having to go outside with storage last year, and we had a tarp and everything like that. So we're trying to just get through it. But we'll see how the season shakes out for us.
Bob, just for the uninformed, how large an area do we need to store 1,000 tons of rock salt? Is it 50 feet by 50 feet? Is it just...
Our building is probably 100 feet long, and let's say 40 feet deep.
Okay.
And so that'll store the 1,500.
And how high?
So it's quite high. It's 30 feet high.
Okay.
And the doors go all the way up to the top. They're rolling doors, just like a regular garage door. And so so the semis are able to back up and dump it into the back of into our building. And we have to use a loader to push that material up and in so that we can close the gates and everything. But it's about 100 by 40, and then the height is about 30.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's not going in my garage.
Not likely.
No. Okay.
Not at your house.
It'll blow the walls of your garage out pretty quickly.
You've seen my garage.
Not at your house.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, 26-14, resolution adopting an annual fine resolution. Justin?
You missed one.
No, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Code.
Emergency
Sorry.
Reading, Chapter 6, 8, 13, missed code.
let's go back
Same
to
guys.
26.
Same guys.
You don't have to go anywhere. 26-13 for the record, an ordinance amending Chapter 6, 8, and 13 of the Municipal Code regarding building regulations. Here we go, Justin.
Second time's the charm. Thank you. The Village of Deerfield currently enforces the 2018 editions of the International Code Council codes, along with the 2017 National Electric Code, or the NFPA 70. Effective January 1st, 2025, Illinois Public Act 103-0510 requires municipalities to comply with one of the three most recent editions of the code. So being on the 2018 code, coming up next January 1st, 2027, the 2027 codes will go into effect. So we do have this year to go into compliance with at least the 2021 or the 2024 codes. So for that reason, the staff are recommending moving forward with the 2024 ICC codes. The village is also scheduled to undergo a review by the Insurance Service Office, or ISO, in February to receive an updating building code effectiveness grading, or a BCEG. Adoption of the 2024 ICC codes goes further in helping us get a higher rating, which then keeps insurance rates low and keeps an ISO rating of 2 that the village has and the fire department has, which requires a lot of staff time and work, and we're very proud of because it does make a significant contribution to the increase or decrease of your insurance rates. So we certainly want to keep that at the best rating possible. I think it's worth noting the thousands of code changes that go into effect, new things like solar panel changes, car chargers, and let me just show you the books real quick. So this is the new building. This is the new building code book. And
Steve, how much of this is new? In those
these
big
are the
books?
2 books that explain that book.
But a lot of that's existing, right?
Correct.
So
Yes,
how
a lot
much
is
of that's
existing.
actually new?
5%.
Okay.
Either way, it's still a lot of work and resources from staff. There's a lot of trainings they have to go to keep up with date with all of these, especially with changing, like the energy codes that change, and even things like escape rooms. Again, the whole point is not to escape, so making sure there's means of egress and things like that are important as technology and consumer changes kind of go into effect. So put these down. But it's about 3 feet worth of code books. Going through all of that. With that, I do also want to mention that November 30th of last year, the state changed their requirements, so they adopt the IECC, or the Energy Code. So if the board remembers, a few years ago, you chose to move to the 2021 IECC code ahead of most other municipalities, but now the state does that. So they're already, as of November 30th, on the 2024 code, which we comply with.
But what you're proposing tonight, this is a 1-year stopgap
So this will
before
move us,
the 2027 on these other codes.
Yeah, so we will stay on the 2024 codes. What usually happens is the ICC releases every 3 years they do this, so 24
Right.
to 27. So when the new codes come out, every municipality typically likes to give it 6 months because there will be amendments that are made. Sometimes they push things too far or it's too new, and then they end up amending that right away. So to let all of those hiccups get caught, essentially, and for those amendments to get made, we typically recommend waiting some period of time before moving to the new code. That's why many municipalities move to the second most recent edition, why we would go to the 24 before moving to the 27, because it does take some time to kind of work out all the kinks with the new code.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Questions or comments from the board?
I have another one. I noticed many sections of the proposed code are crossed out, what we already have, and it says reserved. Can you explain that to me?
More of a clerical. I think if you remove that information, you just reserve that section. So instead of changing every single number after it, kind of like when you delete, it pushes everything forward again. You keep it reserved so that you don't do that. And if you have to add anything into those sections in the future, that line exists.
Okay, but this information that's been crossed out, there's stuff about defining dangerous buildings and repairing existing frame buildings and, a lot of technical stuff. We mean to remove that.
Yes.
That is deliberate. We're not waiting to insert other language to replace it.
So a lot of what that is, and Steve can jump into, is the village has taken 2 different approaches over time. Part of it is we adopt the ICC codes, and then we add in our specific language. Like in 6.1, right off the bat, the first section, you start seeing a lot of things crossed out. So there's 2 ways you can do that. You can, A, do it the way that we used to do it, where we would specifically list then things that require a permit or amendments that we have, or you can just adopt amendments specifically to the code, which is what Steve, as our building supervisor,
So
preferred
all
to do
of
this time.
these kinds of categories, these situations are covered in the other code. We simply don't have to specify them in our own code
Exactly.
in a duplicative way.
Yeah, in some cases they're redundant. In other cases, they are different from each other. So we wanted to make sure
Well,
everything
it
was
just seemed
consistent.
to make sense to me to have a definition of dangerous buildings. I wasn't sure why we were removing it.
Well, and that's all in the code specifically, the ICC. So it supersedes that. So, and some of that is just hangover before the ICC codes existed, or just again older language that we just wanted to clarify. Keep it with the code itself as this gets updated.
Also, regarding dangerous buildings, there's a state statute that talks all about that. So instead of having something both in state law that already applies to us and including something that may not align one-to-one,
Right.
we'll just use what's in the state
And
code.
we say we abide by X code, whatever it is.
Right.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public?
Your Honor, I just want to thank Steve, Hannah, her team, Justin and his team. This has been being worked on for probably 4 or 5 months, 6, maybe 6.
Wow.
As they're chomping their way through it, and this is the culmination of a lot of good hard work, and we're super happy about it. But no, I want to acknowledge the hard work from Hannah, all these guys in the building department. So thank you all.
Well done. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Jennifer.
Thank you. Trustee Benton,
Yes.
Trustee Berg,
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone,
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby,
Yes.
and Trustee Oppenheim.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, we'll do 2614 again. Resolution adopting an annual fine resolution. Justin.
Thank you. So as the board is aware, for many years, there's been an annual fee resolution that include things like water rates, business license fees, sewer rates, so on and so forth. At the advice of Village Council, staff have begun working on a fine resolution. So the intention is by next November, or this coming November, as part of the budget process, we will have a comprehensive fine resolution that will encompass the entire municipal code. However, because we just did this comprehensive update of chapters 6, 8, and 13, it didn't make sense to then do another comprehensive update of those chapters as part of the fine resolution. So as part of the language that was just approved, all of the existing fines that were in there, the language has changed. The fine is established by the fine resolution. So it just didn't make sense to do that twice later on. So for that reason, staff are bringing forward this fine resolution, again, just with chapters 6, 8, and 13. There are no new fines in Chapter 6. If anything, we removed sections like 6-92, which established penalties that had minimum escalators in there, 500, 1,500, and 2,500, which staff would historically not use. And then Chapters 8, electric, which was the NFPA 70, and Chapters 13, which is the IPMC, or the International Property Maintenance Codes. Those two chapters did not have a fine established in there, which then defers back to Chapter 1-25, which is a general penalty. Exactly, Mary. Exactly. So that was a $0 to a $500 fine. All of Chapter 6, which is all the other ICC codes that we just discussed, had a $200 to a $2,000 fine established, which for adjudication and everything else, it makes sense to have the same fines for all of the ICC codes. Because currently, if you had a general maintenance issue or stair railing was broken, that could be $200 to $2,000. But if you had an electrical issue, that was $0 to $500. Or if it was a property maintenance, it was $0 to $500. So while staff have known logistically how to handle all of that, we knew as part of this, we just wanted the consistency across the entire code, $200 to $2,000. Every single ICC code or every building code will be exactly the same in that case. So as I said, Chapter 6, no changes to the code. If anything, we reduced ones that we were not using those, and then creating a uniform code of $200 to $2,000 for Chapters 8 and 13. Otherwise, everything else is exactly the same. With that, are there any questions?
Seems to make a lot of sense. Any questions or comments?
How does this fit into our new adjudication process?
So as we have brought more and more property maintenance codes forward, this just makes everything uniform. As I kind of mentioned, it became tricky when we would have 10 or 15 codes for an or violations for an apartment complex, for example, where 10 of the 15 had different code, or different fines established when they're all ICC code violations. So this just makes everything simplified and uniform for rulings to be easier. And it's just, like I said, it's easy to make mistakes when the fines aren't uniform. So it's just
when they're unclear.
They're unclear.
So
exactly.
in the process, when people come and appear,
More consistent.
it's cut out. It's right there, cut and dried. They know what they're facing.
Exactly, and it
Great.
makes different when again you have 0 to 500 or 200 to 2,000. Everyone we want the lower ones. Well, that just makes much more clear.
Chicken and the egg. So as you apply it, if it's more consistent, it's easier to do it. But we need to have the code consistent so we can apply it. So I think that's part of one of the things we're learning through this, and this is one of the outcomes, is that if those are more consistent and uniform, then it just makes more sense in how we deal with it.
Absolutely. Great.
Any other comments or questions from the board or from the public? Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Berg,
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone,
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby,
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim,
Yes.
Trustee Benton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Hannah. Thanks for the entire team. A lot of work organizing all that stuff. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, 26-15, resolution authorizing the purchase of ferric chloride. Brandon?
Thank you. The WRF is regulated by an NPDES permit. Our current permit was effective in 2020 and included a 1.0 milligram per liter phosphorus limit. That began in June of 2024 after the completion of our chemical phosphorus project. The chemical that we utilize to remove the phosphorus is ferric chloride. This material, when added to our treatment process, attaches to the phosphorus, and then the material settles out. It attaches and then gets heavy, then settles out in our clarifiers, ends up in our biosolids instead of going out into the river. Staff has acquired quotes from 2 vendors to supply tanker truckloads of ferric chloride to the WRF as necessary for FY 2026. The quotes are as follows. Viking Chemical Company out of Rockford, Illinois for 22.05 cents per pound, and Hawkins Incorporated for 25.62 cents per pound. The WRF has utilized both companies since starting up the chemical phosphorus removal project in 2024 with no issues. Staff believes it to be in the best interest of the village to purchase ferric chloride from Viking Chemical Company due to cost. The Department of Public Works and Engineering recommends the Board of Trustees approve the resolution authorizing purchase of ferric chloride in an amount not to exceed $65,000. This expenditure has been included in the fiscal year 26 budget. If there's any questions?
Questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Goldstone,
Yes.
Trustee Jacoby,
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim,
Yes.
Trustee Benton,
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, 26-16, resolution authorizing the waiver of competitive bidding and approving the purchase of SCADA software from Qmation LLC. Brandon.
Thank you, Mayor Proton. As discussed at the previous board meeting, the WRF SCADA system is in need of new hardware and software. The hardware of the computers, servers, panels, and other equipment was purchased in 2025. Strand Associates Engineering Assistance contract was approved at the last meeting. The last portion of this project is to acquire the software. The software, InTouch, is the structural framework which our SCADA system is built on. This, like any other software, requires updates and support as well as licensing to continue using the product. We have obtained a price for the purchase of the software from Qmation LLC, the licensed representative, for $100,424.05. Staff recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorize the purchase of InTouch software from Qmation LLC. Funding for this purchase is included in the 2026 capital budget. If there's any questions?
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
And Brandon, this is another 5 to 7 year lifetime-ish thing, or what can the board expect when this might come back? I mean, we talk about this with Matt all the time. Computers, software technology, it's just, it's not forever, right?
Right. We've already done one computer replacement project, which was in 2018. This one kind of got broken out into a couple different years, but I would expect to continue having to go down this road every 5, 6, 7 years. We'll stretch it out as much as we can, but we always, once we start seeing things start to fail or upgrades, it's kind of software driven sometimes as well.
Yep, and as we've talked about before, once those systems get out of the updating, the supported time frame, then it's time to move on, right? Because we need stuff that's supported from a security standpoint. So,
Right.
Thank you, Brandon.
Any other questions or comments from the board or the public? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jacoby?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yeah.
Trustee Benton?
Yes?
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
And Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Next, are any items for discussion by the Board of Trustees? No? Reports from village manager?
Nothing to add, Your Honor.
There are none, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed. Come on.
Well, you did such a good job.
Great job.
Want to stay.
So good. I want to
Motion passes.
More.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.